Hi, Amir. Thank you for helping with my project. Could you say a little bit about yourself?
Hello, my name is Amir Mohammed Avedini. I'm an Iranian high school student. We got acquainted with each other through the actually Dearman project. Uh, Actually, you replied to one of my tweets on Twitter, and that's how we are actually now having an interview with each other.
That's amazing. So you're actually in Iran right now.
Yes, I am.
Um, and what do you think about NASA sending people back to the moon in 2024?
Well, actually, I am seriously interested in astrobiology, and there are some problems in my country that I might not be able to actually achieve my goal thoroughly here. There are not astrobiology courses here, and I don't know what I am doing now is to follow the websites like NASA's website and I don't know some of the receiving some of the emails from them and about the sending people back to the moon. I actually knew this through different ways. One of them was through a website called the HeroX website. It's a website that I actually understood that the Dear Moon project is actually there, and I found it there. And there was another actually challenge about that. That was maybe a bit funny, but it was about uh, designing a toilet for astronauts that were going to the actually moon. And since then, since that time, I have understood that actually this project, this mission is going to occur really in the future, in the near future.
Um, a portable toilet that could be used on the way to the moon would also
On
have
the
great.
way, and yes, on the way, and I think it was on the plan, on the actual surface. I think it was something like this, but since I wasn't a US citizen, I couldn't participate in that project, and it was somehow painful for me.
I understand.
Yes,
It's unfortunate whenever we have arbitrary or unnatural restrictions on what we can do.
yes. However, I have participated in other challenges. There was another challenge, the first challenge that I actually participated in. It was about 1 year ago, I think. It was about designing a rover, a sensor for a rover that is supposed to actually land on Venus, and it was the challenge that actually was supposed for the all the people from all around the world, and I didn't win, but it was my first experience, and it was really cool for me.
Do you have classmates that are also interested in space and going back to the moon and astrobiology and that type of thing?
Classmates.
Other people at your school?
Well, actually, here not a lot of people are interested in space, and they could be barely actually found here. But from my family members, yes, they are also interested people in actually space explorations. That they were very interested in actually getting to the other actually surface from the moon. That's part of the actually moon that is always night, and they were always asking me, why don't we just send humans to that part to explore there to see what there could be found, and I didn't know how to answer them.
Yeah, I oftentimes the far side of the moon gets called the dark side of the moon, but that's not entirely true since it goes through the same cycles as the near side does.
Yes.
But how did you get interested?
In a space.
Yes.
Well, actually, I think I don't know. Maybe this is something that just occurred in my mind. I am interested, as I told you, I am interested in astrobiology. So astrobiology works with actually deals with biology and astronomy, and when they just arrive to each other, it becomes to actually it arrives to other parts like I don't know, maybe planetary science and all of these things that could be often found in the documentaries and a lot of cosmology books. And maybe the first time that I became seriously curious about space was when there was a documentary about the NASA. NASA's it was Curiosity rover, I think. That it made me just so interested in space.
Uh, you must have been seeing the latest rover, the Perseverance rover
Yes, the
with the
perseverance.
Ingenuity helicopter. What do you
Yes,
think
exactly.
about the helicopter?
Well, I don't know. Maybe I hear that the people in NASA actually have been working on it for something about more than 6 years, and uh, I don't know. It was just amazing, and I also sent my name to Mars, and actually, I don't know. It was really great. My family members all knew about that. That actually, I had mentioned them that there is going to be a mission like that in the future. And when they started that project, I was streaming streaming the movie in my from the Twitter, from the YouTube on my mobile phone, and my family was actually watching with me, and they were just so interested how it is going up. Yes,
Yeah, it's amazing. I saw it, I showed it to my father-in-law, and he was like, wow, they have rocks and mountains on Mars. So it's kind of amazing, because from
yeah,
here it's just a little bitty dot in the sky. To actually imagine that dot's a whole world with the air and things can fly in the
yes,
atmosphere
the
is
atmosphere. Yes,
just
that's right.
mind-blowing.
It might become our future home.
Well, one of many. I think we need to uh, have bases and people throughout the solar system and really begin expanding the physical scope of humanity.
Yes, that's right. And one of the most important actual features of this Perseverance rover is related to this astrobiology, especially that is actually trying. They are all of these rovers are going to try actually find some maybe biological actions there, the fossils of maybe bacteria or even the bacteria, maybe we don't know. And I think the answers will be very, very amazing.
Absolutely. So does Iran have a civilian space program or a scientific space program, something similar to NASA?
Uh, I don't know. It is somehow related to the government, and I'm not really into the political things, but I haven't heard about these things. Maybe they have sent some actually satellites into the orbit, but I'm not sure about the organization like NASA.
So, if you continue pursuing astrobiology and your interest in space, do you see yourself like creating an organization with inside of Iran, or do you think you would have to eventually maybe go to the UAE or to the US or to Europe or to India, China, or Russia, Japan, someplace else? What do you think?
Well, I think for the first steps, I have to study this actually uh, part of science, and then to think about the things. But I think one of the most important things actually that is very important for every human, I think, is experiencing to actually, I don't know, in your country, there might be courses like work experience. Is that right? Or work?
Yes, We do have lots of online education and in-person education available to learn
Yes,
science and other things as well.
but here most of the universities and the schools just actually teach students in a theoretical way more than something related to, I don't know, in a functional way. And I think especially for astrobiology, we need this functional way. So uh, I don't know, maybe it's a future that is quite unforeseen for me.
But I imagine the study of astrobiology right now would probably be more focused on like microbes, like bacteria and really small things. And there's so much about bacteria that we don't understand now and that we could learn. Um, do you, is this something that you're looking into?
Mm, well, I don't know, maybe uh, how to tell yet. You know, these things are only, I think, related to biology, and to actually combine it with the astrobiology, it becomes, it contains whole the universe, you know. We can answer, if we actually improve in this way, we can answer the old question of humanity, that is there any life there on other planets? And so we are working on them. And to answer these things, we have to first know ourselves in the best way, you know. And I think knowing bacteria and other microorganisms are actually, this is a very, very important process to actually uh, achieve those goals.
Um, so you applied for the Dear Moon project, and
Yes.
how did you find out about that?
Well, as I told you, for the first time, I actually found it from, I received an email from that HeroX website that actually four words, I think, made me so interested and just stopped me from moving around, moving along my actually inbox from the email. It was the uh, crew members, Planet and Moon, and just these four words actually made me interested, or seriously, that's something that's going to happen. And yes, I just answered those two questions, and it was something, I think, unforeseen for me, that there are going to be two questions, and I did absolutely know nothing about this project. But for the moment, actually, I am just looking forward to the email that might not come at all, and I don't know, this is something I can't even doubt.
Well, I think this is just the first of many such opportunities. Looking at what
Yeah.
SpaceX is doing with the Starship and the plans to have a completely reusable spacecraft that would be able to carry, dozens of people at a time. And, I think at some point it's going to become quite common for people like you and me to actually go into space.
Yes, it would be a fascinating time so to actually have them. And the other thing is that this actually Starship uh, might be used for the future Mars project, and so I don't know, it would be something very great to actually even talk about these things. You know, it is going to make up our future, and uh, this is the cutting edge technology that we are talking about.
Um, So you obviously are willing to go into space and even go as far as around the moon. Would you consider immigrating to Mars and living on Mars the rest of your life?
Yes, of course. I am ready to do that actually. Um, I think one of the maybe most interesting parts of my life would be actually the time that I might be able to see that me personally or other people from our planet are going to the Mars, and maybe to make it more astonishing for me personally, I might be able to be the actually that astrobiologist who might be able to help them actually do their experiments there, and it would be just something very, very astonishing for me.
But how would it be living life where you always have to be in a container, either inside of a building, or if you went out, you had to be in the suit. You could never ever go outside and enjoy the sun on your face and the rain on your head and the wind against your skin. What do you think that would be like?
Well, I think it is. We are talking about kind of maybe machinery board for ourselves that we are going to actually produce or provide for ourselves. Uh, it might be something, I don't know words, but when you get into those things, when you actually examine them in a more actually maybe I can say in a more what do you say when you examine something in a more when you're carefully something about it, when you actually carefully examine these projects and uh, you just don't talk about it, but you want to just tell, yes, for example, this is the that day that we are launching the, for example, maybe that starship to the Mars. For that time, I think there would be a lot of ideas from the interested people in those areas. For example, for me personally, I think uh, it is also possible for us to actually work to use to utilize maybe the genetics from the biology to actually maybe produce some organisms like plants, small plants and bacteria that use the photosynthesis actually to produce oxygen for us there and to use the carbon dioxide that contains more than 90% of the Mars's atmosphere. I think it would be also possible for us. So there are a lot of, I think this is like being in a room with a lot of windows. And what you need, I think, is to just open those windows and I don't know, use them. This is something like uh, mm, maybe getting help from lots of curious people in those areas. Fortunately, we have NASA that there are a lot of interested people in space working for them. And on the other hand, SpaceX is actually working on these things. And it would be a dream of lifetime for me to be among them.
Yeah, in fact, it's even better we have you working on this.
Well, I don't know. Maybe this is just something I have maybe achieved through the documentaries related to astronomy and biology, both of them astrobiology. There are a lot of those actually documentaries on the internet that you can find and get information about them. And on the other hand, I am, as I told you, very, very interested in the actually biology. And I don't know, maybe we might be able to actually make it together.
But there is one sort of benefit to your situation. Because you're sort of restricted on what information you have and what opportunities you have, it really increases the need to collect your own facts and to do your own analysis and draw your own conclusions. And perhaps in that process, you may be replicating a lot of the things that have already been done, but you also might see things that other people have missed because they're relying too much on what's already been done before them.
Well, I think being in a team and working as a team, a very, very more valuable thing. than working alone. Uh, I think the possibility to actually cause a revolution in a team is more than just working alone. Of course, in these days, that actually these projects are related to thousands of people, as it was in, for example, Apollo missions that you saw. That it was really interesting, and as I think it's become such a kind of annual process. Each year, I just uh, download some of the documentaries related to Apollo missions from the astronauts and the people who have been working on this part and that project and on that mission. So I don't know, I somehow personally commemorate this mission, and however, a lot of people might say that it has been just fake, or it has been just something not down in actually in the history. We haven't been able, and I don't think that is. I personally think that it has been done because I don't know, their idea, their reasons are not such a reasonable things for me to actually to be able to judge these things. And for me, humanity can do these things easily by improving and I don't know, getting help from each other.
Yes, I understand what you mean. I think from my standpoint is what we've done in the past is less interesting to me than what we're doing right now and what we'll do in the near future.
Yes, a lot of people might say that it has been a political race, but for example, you can see that from all those missions, from the Apollo 1 to Apollo, for example, Apollo 17, just one scientist was sent to the moon, and that scientist was in Apollo 17. That was the last mission. This is right, but it doesn't mean that we haven't done it. And there is a organization. There is an organization in your country, I think, that is called Fight for Space, and they are all actually, I think, worried about what is happening to the humanity's space explorations in the near future. But I think the 2023, that is Dear Moon, and 2024, I think it would be just a revision to those memories.
Yeah, it will be amazing to see. And it is such a pleasure to get to talk to you. I see this as a time capsule that perhaps people 50 years from now or 100 years from now, when they're looking at what people think right before this new space age, um, can you imagine a high school student like yourself looking at this video 100 years from now, trying to figure out what life was like and what we were thinking about the future? Perhaps that high school students actually on Mars. Um, what
Yes,
what would you want them to know?
maybe that high school student is born on Mars, huh?
Absolutely.
That would be. Well, actually, I think uh, first then he would say, "What a weird life!" It would be very weird. I don't know. Maybe uh, they can just uh, talk about us, as maybe the interested people in space explorations, and I'm grateful that I'm proud of myself that I am among the people who try to actually commemorate and who try to at least force the organizations and to say, yes, we love a space to actually be explored. And I think what they will actually think of us would be something like this. Maybe it would be something else. Maybe it would be something else, like, I don't know what the tiny world they had. They hadn't explored the maybe other planets, but maybe it would be something else. Like, for example, they might ask us, well, why you are talking about these things? You have beach on the Earth, but we don't have on the Mars. And I don't know, maybe there are something else. There's something else related to actually these answers.
Life would be very different for them. They wouldn't understand the idea of going outside without a spacesuit, or how we have like oceans, like you were saying,
Yes,
with our rain
riding
clouds.
bicycles, and I don't know, catching up with friends in the parks. And yes, it would be oh such a different thing. Maybe I don't know. Maybe actually we would find some. We would be able to find some solutions for them also. That's maybe that is also possible. But I don't know. This is Mars, such a weird planet maybe for us, and it is going to be discovered.
I think as soon as we get a sizable number of people on Mars, that will drive the economics and the technology and politics to have us really branch out into the rest of the solar system.
Maybe to the Titan, to the Europa, to the actually moons and the world moons in the solar system. Yes, it would be also possible. And even at the moment, we have some actually theories about the life on those planets and those moons. And I don't know, that would be another interesting time in the history.
And we'll start mining the asteroid belt and building huge cities in space that are completely separate from planets.
I don't know, maybe we are actually thinking as the science fiction authors, and I don't know, maybe, I don't know. Most of the times, the things that people talk to each other will occur in a different way. I don't know, especially in this area of these things that we just dream. But I think it would actually happen if there don't be a kind of extinction on the Earth. So we might be able to actually live on Mars and other planets, even out of the solar system.
Well, it won't happen by itself. It won't happen naturally. It only happened because people like you make it happen.
Yes, thank you.
Well, is there anything you would like to add before we close the recording?
Uh, I don't know, maybe this is something is very weird for me nowadays, is that actually there is no answer from the Dear Moon project, and I don't know if it has been closed or they have judged, the judge have been done, or another process is finished or not. For the step 2, if you go to that dearmoon.earth, that is the website, you can't find anything. The timeline is empty, and I don't know, it is a bit weird. And the teaser event, just actually other participants are actually posting and tweeting, and I don't know, maybe we are just waiting for them.
Yeah, so initial screening March 22nd, so that's already been done. Assignment, online interview, final interview and medical checkup late May 2021. Um, yeah, I I I don't know. I signed up also. I haven't gotten any emails from them either, other than that second email.
Have you personally participated?
I have not. I mean, I personally signed up and I personally filled out the form for the second screening, but I've not had anything beyond that, like
Uh,
no emails. So, I mean, my understanding is they got thousands and thousands of people. Um, it could be, um, it could be that they already kind of have their pool of candidates. I'm just taking a look at my email to see if I missed anything. But no, doesn't look like I missed anything. So, um, but I would say if you really want to go to the moon, you should go to the moon and you should like nothing stop you. Make your own path.
Yeah.
Even if you had to build your own rocket ship.
Yes. I'm even thinking about it. Maybe you could help me or
I
any other people.
absolutely. My hope is on SpaceX and their Starship. I think if they get that right, that will open up
Yes,
space for all of us. I'm more interested in what's the facility that we're going to be living in on the moon and how to make it so that it's safe and comfortable and that we're happy to be in it, even though it's contained.
I think the actually icy water from the beneath the actually air beneath the moon's surface would be very very interesting. I think.
Yeah, and if we're practice for that, we should probably live below the Earth's surface and try to make that as nice as possible. Just to uh, experiment and find the right configuration and setup.
That's right. Can you ask? Can I ask you a few questions?
Sure.
Uh, can I ask your job? What is your job?
So I work for a software company and I work in our customer support group. So whenever our customers have problems, I help them with those. Space is a passion of mine. So I created the North Houston Space Society. We have monthly meetings where we invite people to come learn about what's going on in space. For the past year, because of COVID, we've been doing them online.
Yes,
About about 500 days ago, I started this project because I worked from home before everybody else was working from home. And I wanted some project to help me get out and talk to people in person. So my plan was to go interview people at the coffee shop, at the store, on the street, go up to them and say, hi, I'm doing this project. Can I talk to you for a little bit? And so I did that for the first part. And now the COVID situation's getting better here. So I'm starting able to interview people in person again. So that's sort of the situation.
I think it was if it was a kind of interview in person, you might not be able to interview me from Iran, and I don't know. It was good for me, I think.
Yes, no, that is absolutely true. Um, I've I've been able to interview people in Russia, India, Pakistan, Iran, Egypt, um, and lots of other places like Argentina, Chile, Mexico. And so,
It's become
that
international.
it's been good. I would like to interview more people from Iran, actually. We there's so there's a lack of knowledge of people in Iran here in the U.S. And I think by meeting one-on-one with people in Iran would be a good first step to maybe helping um, spread knowledge about the people there, and likewise talk about the people here over there. So I think it'd be
Yes,
good to make that connection.
I think catching up with each other would be very interesting. Yes. And are you following your passion, or you have been forced to actually uh, follow your job?
Yeah, it's really weird. So I was in high school, I was passionate about computers and I was compassionate about space. And then the internet took off, and then I got sucked up in the computer world. And so now I've been kind of over here, but I still have my passion for space. So I haven't figured out how to either combine the two or make the jump over to space.
Yes, that's really good, and I really love people who have actually followed the passion to actually achieve their goal, and I think it is more valuable than what most of the people here, even teachers and headmasters and parents, actually think. They think actually changing your purpose, and I don't know, following something that is not related to your passion is more valuable than uh, maybe following your passion. For example, when I say to my parents, I say I love the, biology and astrobiology. They say no because maybe you cannot earn as much money here after the years of studying in this course. But I don't know. I am just interested in it, and I don't know how to do that. It is something somehow difficult here to. I don't know. Maybe I might not be able to actually study biology in better universities and then to become astrobiologist. So it is really good to actually follow your channel, to follow your passion, to follow what you are interested in, and it makes you more successful in the process in your life, and that would be something very, very great.
Yeah, it is really nice if you're able to spend full time on your passion. But there's been a lot of people who initially had to do things that they weren't passionate about, and then they had to do extra to follow their passion. And then over time, they were able to figure out some way to make the jump or some way to kind of combine the two. Um, there was a lawyer who was really, his passion was mathematics. So, he still was a lawyer, but he followed his, still practice mathematics as well. And there's been people who wanted to be a writer, so they do their job during the day, and then at night or early in the morning they spend on their craft. So um, if you end up having to do one thing to pay the bills, make sure you save some time and energy to do the thing that makes you wanna want to pay them.
It was the same thing. I think what I did last year, I had the final exams, and for the days I studied for the exams, and for the nights for 1 week, I didn't sleep the nights, all the nights. I was working on the project for that actually NASA sensor for the Venus rover, and I think it was as it was the first international project for me to participate. It became something very, very just astonishing and unique for me in actually my lifetime.
That is awesome. Well, it was a pleasure to talk to you, and I hope we continue to cross paths. And if you know
We,
of anybody else in Iran that would be willing to do an interview with me, um, that would be fantastic. And even if they don't speak English, if you're willing to be a translator, maybe that would be a possibility.
I'm not a good translator actually,
Um, and I
but I,
understand.
I will I will do that. Yes, of course, if I see any actually person uh, passionate about space exploration, and who, especially if they didn't know about the 2024 project, I will actually tell them to actually have a conversation with you.
That would be fantastic.
Thank you.
Well, Amir, I hope you have a good rest of your day, and feel free to reach
Thank
out
you.
if I could ever be of help.
Thank you. And the thing is that here is night and there is maybe day. Yes.
So have a good night.
Thank you. I'm going to the bed
I understand.
after every bit we go. Yes, it will be the night actually after having an interview with you. It was very great to actually have an interview with you, and I hope the best for you.
Thank you so much. Okay,
Thank
take
you.
care.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Good night.